Alright, hey there YouTube, real quick, working on a side project for the gold Jeep. I'm gonna put those Super Duty axles that you've seen me tripping over out in front of the garage. I'm gonna put those under the gold Jeep, which was the original plan. Then I was thinking of building another project, which isn't gonna happen for a while, so we're going back to the original. So got a brake booster and a master cylinder. The master cylinder didn't come with an O-ring or anything. There is a weep hole down at the bottom for draining out moisture, but I decided I'd put a little bit of a seal on there, so I made my own gasket. Let's see, this is one part number of stuff I got, which is this black rubberized fiber sheet. You can use it for all these things listed here, but I decided to use this blue stuff, which is this part number. Got it from Napa, and you can use it on all that stuff. And I think it's a type of, I think cellulose is a type of foam, so it's like a this stuff is a rubberized foam, so I went with that. So I made that, and if I need one for back here, I got some this cork rubber type gasket that I can use for that. But let's see, so first thing, this is different than the one I put on the Comanche, but basically the same specs. I'll try to leave part numbers and stuff for like the master cylinders down below in the description. This booster came from Autozone. All you got to do is ask for a 96 Jeep Cherokee brake booster. You know, give them whatever information, you know, 4.0, whatever. I've never used the 97 and up ones, but from my experience with doing the Comanche, this worked out pretty good. This lined up really well, so I went back to use that one on the 93. But here's the part number for the master, M2085, 1 1/4 inch bore. I'm going to keep this part of the box for future reference. The one I used on the Comanche was that style. I've heard that people have lost brakes with that style because there's not much of a reservoir in here for each, you know, front and rears. Whereas this one, it's I could pop this off, I think. But anyway, there's two separate reservoirs, so for front and rear. So if one goes low, you still have your other brakes. So that's why I went with this style, and plus I like the look of this anyway. I think those are ugly, and this will be more like what it has on there currently. The little indent right here for the push rod is, I think, a little more shallow than the other one, but somehow I got it adjusted. But with this one, the push rod, this is the original push rod that was in there, was too short. I would have only had like 2 or 3 threads by the time I had it adjusted. So I went down to the hardware store and I bought some bolts. The bolts are, and then these screws. So they're M6 with the 1.00 thread pitch. This one is 30 millimeters long, that one's 35, and that's 35. And I decided to go with this one because it already has kind of a rounded head. So what I had to do is I held the head of it with some vice grips. That's why it's all tore up. This is an all metal lock nut that I tightened all the way up against the head of that screw, and then I put 2 nuts on there. These ones aren't tightened, but for the one that's in there, I already made it. I tightened them down, I locked them down, and put it in the lathe over here. I put it in the lathe, and then I just turned down this head and nut all to where it was all round, and then got rid of those boogered up teeth marks from the vice grips, and then kind of took a file and just smoothed it out and made it kind of pretty. I'm probably going to put a little bit of grease on there, and then you know, just kind of help it just a little bit. One thing to note is that the holes didn't line up perfectly with these studs, and they were kind of bent in a little bit, so I went to try to bend them out, and then I popped one of them loose. Oops, you're not even seeing what I'm trying to show you. So this one popped out, so I had to fish it out of there. So what I'm going to do is I think I got that thing adjusted in there. I don't have the tool to do that, so I just put this off and on until it sat pretty flush, and I could just barely feel that thing up in there touching. So I got it where I wanted, so I locked it down. I used some blue Loctite on the threads, so hopefully that helps, you know, it from backing out or whatever. But I got it in there tight. So now I'm going to just put it together and store it away for when we get around to doing the Gold Jeep. I do have to change some wheel cylinders, so I bought 2 of them. One's left and one's right. But these are bigger. These are 7/8 bore, whereas the other ones that are on it are smaller. So I figured I'd just try something different. And I'll rebuild those other ones at a later time, so I have them as spares. But I think that'll work. Give me a little bit more stopping power. We'll see. I don't know. I've never tried it before. I've never read of anybody doing that before, so maybe I'm going to be the first. But I'm going to get this all put together, store it away, and have it ready for the Gold Jeep when we get around to doing all that other stuff. I might even swap this in it after I get the wheel cylinders done, because I'm going to be bleeding brakes anyway. So I might just swap this in there and have it all ready to go, make sure it all works, and then get working on those axles. But we got to finish this thing first, which will be the next video, or might have been the previous video. I don't know where these videos are going to line up. So but that's it for now. Stay tuned. I'll leave some links of or the link to the spreadsheet of Napa's master cylinders. You know, they have pictures of the master cylinder with part numbers, and then you scroll down all the way towards the bottom, and then they have you look up the part number at which one you're trying to figure out will work, and it has specifications and stuff. So that's how I figured out this one would work. I compared it to the part number that I had for the Comanche, and this one had relatively the same specs. So I'll link that down in the description below, as well as both those part numbers, this one and the Comanche, so you guys can see. And then yeah, so till next time, y'all take care now.